Get started. You guys have any questions? Nothing? You have no problems.
I do. I have
All
lots of
right.
Travis.
So pick one.
My hiring problem is I'm only getting new grads, and even which isn't the end of the world, but we're trying to like maybe the next one not be a new grad.
Okay.
Uh, and the question I have is like, you post Indeed and all this stuff, and I have never tried um, posting on social media for a job. I asked
Hmm.
this to Will Humphreys yesterday if that works, and he said he's never had success with that.
Like organic posting or like running ads on social media?
Running ads,
Okay.
you know,
Um,
because you're only going to capture those people that are kind of tired of their job if they're looking at Indeed. So, like, what if I went to where they are, you know?
mhm.
So, I don't know.
We run ads I mean, I'll show you our pipeline right now. Let me open this up. So yeah, that's the way to run, right? All right. So I'll show you my go high level right now. So, oh, this is my other go high level. That's
Go high level?
NLPT. Go high level. You ever heard of go high level?
Nope.
Do you even watch my recordings I send you, Tucker? Come on, man. You're
Um,
hurting my
I,
feelings.
I, uh, I look at
No
them and
comment.
I reminisce on.
All right. I think I showed this on one of the office hours calls, but we'll do it again because I'm sure you're not the only one that doesn't hear me blab for a half hour. So
Okay.
this is just a CRM. It's just like a customer relation management thing.
Uh-huh.
It's you could do all this stuff, I'm sure, in Infusionsoft or other things. Um, there's a million different softwares for this, but we use this because who runs our ads for this stuff uses it, and that's how I got introduced to it. I really like it. It's of
Yeah, you
all the
use Robbie's
stuff.
thing, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
So for here, they run ads for me for my so this is my hiring pipeline. So I do get some physical therapists and PTAs, but I haven't had a ton. But I do get a ton of admin. That's just like anything else. Like if you put an ad out for admin, there's just more people that are
Yeah.
can apply for that job than have a physical therapy license. So that becomes the rub. But we do get some people that go in here and then they fill out the application. They jump through a few hoops, and we do get some success running ads. I'll tell you, we haven't had a ton of success doing it. So
Okay.
I guess I would kind of agree with them, but we've tripped over a couple of them. But this is even a good place just to kind of store stuff. I think just like anything else, if you are selling a widget, right? So you're selling a PT job. How many other people in your area are selling a PT job?
Everyone.
Lots of people. They're
Yeah.
gonna go to the places where people are, which is it's important to be there. You can't be. I would never say, yeah, just get off Indeed and LinkedIn. And I mean, we use Career Plug. Do you use Indeed or use Career Plug?
I'm just Indeed. I've been looking at Career Plug and Breezy and Bamboo HR and Jazz HR and like
Yeah. You
those
don't
seem
use
to be.
our Career Plug product? Jeez. It's like
No, I
15,
don't.
it's like 13 or 1500 bucks for the whole year. You can run as many ads you want for as many positions you want, unlimited, and it like automatically refreshes them. I you really want
Travis, I have a hard time getting Career Plug to call me back, actually.
no,
So
you don't
you,
need you need to talk to me and because you need to use our link because you get a huge discount if you use ours.
okay.
So we'll take care of that. But I mean I can show you inside a Career Plug too when I get a sec. But
Yeah.
um you have to go where people aren't. I still do all that stuff because I still get leads there. But what we have done that's successful is like happy hour. So I have a list of, and the list needs to be
Thought
updated.
about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So just get a list. I think even Seattle, you guys are like super nice out there. If you call up your state board, they probably would just give you a list of all
I've
license.
already bought it from them.
Okay, so you have a list. I would buy all of them too. Not like, oh, I want outpatient therapist. Just buy every freaking thing because there's therapists out there that work in the hospital that are married to outpatient therapists. So it's or
Mhm.
have friends and family. So anyway, get as a big a list as you can together and send out a postcard. Guess what? I've never gotten a postcard for as a physical therapist. I've got ton for recruitment. I've got, hey, can I buy your practice? Hey, do you want to work for us? Tons of other stuff. I've never gotten, hey, do you want to show up for happy hour Friday at 4? So you need to be competing somewhere where nobody else is. I will guarantee you right now, if you put together a poster, I put one together now, Tucker. So just let me know and I'll show you like my copy and stuff. I
Okay.
did it a long time ago and I can't freaking find it. So I did it last summer and I didn't get a huge response. It's not like I got like 40 PTs that showed up for happy hour. I got like six. But guess what? I hired one and I spent like 1,200 bucks on a postcard. How much are you going to spend on a recruiter?
Uh,
So,
a lot.
yeah. So you got to start competing
Yeah.
where people aren't. And yeah, I can't say that you're not if you compete in their mailbox, there is actually a decent amount of direct mail. At least out here. I don't know, Chuck, do you get direct mail, people sending you like, "Hey, come join our physical therapy team"?
No, not a lot actually at this point.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're not getting a lot of that, Tucker, maybe you are competing in a category of one where no one is sending out recruiting letters or postcards to like join our team. But it's not come join our team. It's come, hey, I'm going to open up a bar tab. Do you want to come? They're gonna be like, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I
I'm
would
gonna
do,
be that
especially in
guy.
your area. Like everybody's like outside and social, and
Yeah.
I think that would do really well for you. But you've got to do different things. Like we go to job fairs. I mean, it's a lot of work, but it is something where we can kind of gather information and then find people that way. But if you don't want new grads, like we seek out new grads. So that doesn't mean I'm doing it right and you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
What's your objection to new grads, by the way?
Mine is none. We've the last two we've hired. One was awesome. The other one has been some work, and my leadership team says no more new grads.
Okay.
So I
Because of
Well, I
told,
one
get
new grad?
what's that?
Because of just one new grad?
Yep.
yeah, I
Well,
don't
I
go
guess
ahead, Chuck.
I would tell you that whatever sort of situation you're looking at as an owner
Mhm.
and you have a blip, don't don't change your policy because of one blip.
I know. Yeah, we do seem to overreact to things and are hesitant for change. So we have those kinds of uh, challenges, or I do anyway. So
Yeah, so impossible to argue with Chuck's point. The other point I would say is, guys, we're busy. Either we hire a new grad and, rough out the edges and try to help them out, or you guys just see 20% more patients. Which one do you want to do? What's your choice? So it's like we got that pushback, not much, but a little bit in the beginning, like taking students. Like I always hear that from owners. It's like, oh my God, take a student. It's just like an extra set of to do items for me. If you have a system to train them, I'll tell you right now, like my PTs are really looking forward to summer because they have like amazing students that are really good. Now, if you get a shit student, then you're screwed.
yeah,
We just had that happen in the spring and it was a little bit painful. But they also have to develop coaching skills, which if your clinical directors and your leaders need to develop coaching skills, they need to take, clay and kind of mold it up. Some PTs students are just terrible and there's nothing you can do for sure. But I think that's in the minority. So yeah, if you're competing for not new grads, man, you are really cutting down your pool of
I
applicants
know.
that you can
It's
take.
it's one out of probably 20 where they're not a new grad. And it's usually somebody moving here from the area, like this is how it always goes. My husband just got a job at Amazon. We're moving to Seattle from New York or wherever. So San
Right.
Francisco. That's how we've gotten our seasoned PTs is because they moved here. We've only stolen a competitor's PT once. So um,
Okay.
people just don't really look, it seems like, I don't know. We seem to be pretty strong. Like we have the most Google reviews in the city. Um, like we have a reputation now and stuff like that. But I think people just they don't move around. You know,
Yeah. I mean,
fortunately,
you
they
have
don't
to
leave us either. So I don't.
that's good. You have to interrupt their normal pattern. So if they get a flyer in the mail and it has to be kind of, has to grab their attention,
Yeah,
then that's what's going to get them to change. And it can't be, hey, come join our team. It's got to like the
yeah,
card that I'm sending out is learn how. Now you're not going to like this. We can change the copy. Learn how a new grad can make $100,000 a year in outpatient private practice. Like there's my logo's not on there or anything. My Google reviews are not on there. It's just I have to grab their attention first, and then I'll push them to I'll go like offline to online. So it's like offline is the postcard that I send out, and then online I'll drive them to a landing page. and then I'll sell really hard, the differences between us. But for
Mm,
like that happy hour, I would even like tie a topic around it. Again, for us, you're not going to like this, but I'm probably going to tie it around the 5 things you need to look for in a new job.
yeah,
That's going to be a lot of new grads, but it'll also be people that are kind of like, if they're not a new grad, it's like, oh, I'm looking for a new job. What are the 5 things I need to know before I change jobs or accept my first position as a PT or something like that? So
yeah,
it's got to be some kind of, it's not hey, we're going to try to recruit you to be a PT here, come for happy hour. You can do that. That might be successful, but in a more sophisticated audience, you're trying to like get some interest going. It's like, okay, I'm going to get free drinks and appetizers. Somebody is going to talk about something. Most people in the back of their mind, I know what this is a recruiting event, but you know,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
and that's fine. I mean, I think if you ask the question, like, you speak to their pains or their fears or their dreams or whatever, uh, they're probably more likely to show up.
yeah, for sure.
Free beer.
So, so yeah. So this is career plug. I'm not even using this to its highest capabilities yet. I have a coaching call with someone that's going to help me out with that. But in terms of like organizing information and keeping stuff straight, then this has been really helpful for us. So we get, applicants almost all the time. You can set them for disqualified, hired, you can do all sorts of cool stuff in here. But for us, this just kind of keeps things organized. Again, for what we used to spend $1,500 a month on Indeed ads. Now we spend $1,500, or it's less, I think. I should know this stuff more. I'll send you the application, but it has all the information on there, and then you can run unlimited ads for Career Plug. And Career Plug is just kind of an amalgamation of like all of the main job sites. They put them in one place. Still, most of the applicants that we come in, we get to see the source, like where they come from. It is Indeed, but there's some that come from other places as well, and we just had better luck with them than we've had with other
Yeah,
things that we have tried.
I
Yeah,
dropped.
mine are coming from Indeed. I get some from ZipRecruiter. Uh, those are the two that when I ask people, "Where do you see the post?" Usually getting those two.
Do you get anything from LinkedIn?
I have not.
I don't
I
get
haven't
anything
had
from
much luck
LinkedIn.
there.
Not either. And I've given LinkedIn probably $1,500 this last month or so.
Yeah,
Um,
I was
I don't
most
know that
excited about
I don't
them,
know that
but
clinicians think. I don't
no,
think most clinicians think in that line of, oh, that's a business side. I'm not a business.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, I've
So
never had any luck with LinkedIn.
yeah,
yeah,
I'd give one lead, but it was a terrible lead. But
yeah.
yeah,
All right,
we're
so
not
we had
opposed to new grads. We're having a new grad interview next week, but yeah,
Yeah, I think you have to also turn your team's opinion about that around, because if they have a new grad interview, if they're going into it thinking, I don't want to hire this person to begin with, then that's not going to be good
I
either.
know, I
So,
know. So I got to remind him the other new grad that we had is just a rock star. I mean, here for 1 year, and he we do PTO for the most Google reviews in the quarter, and he's gotten it twice. It's a new grad,
wow,
you know, like he's that confident. He'll ask patients for Google reviews, you
that's
know.
great.
So,
Yeah. So,
yeah.
all right, we had 2 questions that were submitted. That's why Chuck is here, because he is my resident expert on this stuff. Here's one from Eric. My question for today is how to utilize an effective cancellation policy with charges that helps folks to show, isn't strictly punitive, has teeth, and helps preserve the relationship. We have had soft discussions that have enabled patients to walk over us and charged fees, and had patients pissed off and drop out. So this is a question we get a ton. I always go to Chuck on this because he has the highest arrival rate of anybody I've ever heard in the history of private practice physical therapy. So, not to put any pressure on you, Chuck, but
101%.
um, yeah. But let's talk about Eric's question. So it's a cancellation policy. Sounds like he's nervous to put in a cancellation policy.
Mhm.
His people up front probably don't love collecting that cancellation fee, so they probably just kind of ignore it anyway. What are your thoughts on cancellation policies?
Well, I'll confess that we we don't charge for cancels. We just don't. And when you look at the big picture of it, uh, it's we've all heard this 1,000 times, but it's all about the perceived value that that patient has of coming to one of their visits. The more value you have, the bigger the barriers gotta be for them to not come. If the value's only here, the barrier doesn't have to be very big. Whether it's I gotta get my nails done, or I'm tired, or whatever it might be. So, value comes in the form of one, getting results, and getting them the results that they want. So it's important to find out, how they're viewing success when they come in on their first visit. But they also, the light coming in. Honestly, depending on what your treatment times are, we see folks for an hour. You kind of have to be a bit of an entertainer. You have to be willing to listen to a bunch of stories and create an environment that they enjoy while they're in their visit.
Yeah. So
we got some folks that come that they're more interested in talking to their therapist than really doing the therapy stuff, but they'll do the therapy stuff so they can, they have their own sort of captured audience to some extent, and build a relationship with that therapist. So when they cancel, they're not just canceling their appointment, they're canceling on Travis. And we want to create an environment where I don't want to cancel on Travis versus I don't want to cancel on ABC physical therapy. Well, they don't care about that. So it really is a value in a relationship with that patient, that they're getting the results that they want and that they truly enjoy their time when they're here.
Yep. So Chuck's mic cut out a little bit, but what he's talking about is just value proposition. So you have to provide value in the session. If people find value in other things like getting their hair done or their nails done or heading to the beach on Friday, depending on where you live, or the lake, then that is a policy to make that punitive is not going to help you out. So, I mean, this starts here with, you guys have all seen this probably because I just beat it like a dead horse, but you have to have the proper conversation at the initial evaluation. So it's an actual prescription, giving them an idea of what they've signed up for and kind of pushing them through to make sure they understand how physical therapy works best. And then they have to make decisions about if they're going to comply with that. Now, they'll make their decisions based on improvement in session a lot. Like if you're not getting anywhere with them in the first couple of weeks, then they're going to start thinking, well, is physical therapy really for me? The number one way to not get success in the first couple of weeks is to see them once a week for the first couple of weeks. So if you are prescribing out a certain amount of physical therapy, and first of all, if you're just prescribing once or twice a week, it's just really hard to get results there. Maybe you're a better clinician than me. Maybe your clinicians are better than mine. But in every case, the more physical therapy someone gets, the faster they're going to get better, in my experience. So making sure that they understand what I train my staff is they'll write all this stuff down and they're going to put a couple circles on this. They're going to write in their goals for physical therapy, at least 2 goals. And we're going to do a couple things. We're going to say, if you could do this and set some really high goals for them, if you could do these 2 things, how would that make you happy? And what you want to hear is, oh my God, I would be thrilled if I could do that. Great. We circle that. Here's what your whole program is around. And then we go down to here, and then we write out a full plan of care. If I see 2 times a week for 4 weeks and then nothing else down here, I'm to understand that the therapist has written a prescription for 2 times a week for 4 weeks, and then we're done. If I was the patient, that's what I would think. This whole thing has to be written out. And then the other big circle that we make is right here. The first 3-4 weeks, whatever you want to say, are the most important. It's 3 times a week for the first 4 weeks. Can you commit to that treatment plan? And you're looking to get objections, you have to try to pull objections out of them, because if you just get like nodding, and then they go up front and they're like, oh man, I have a $40 copay. I know he said 3 times a week, but I'm going to come 1 time a week. If you don't have checks and balances up front to make sure that doesn't happen, you're going to be in trouble. So in my office, when that happens, The first thing that happens, everything stops at the front desk. I don't care if the phone is ringing. I don't care if the therapist has another evaluation that they're doing. This paper walks back to the therapist and says, "Hey, I know you wrote this, but Jen up front is saying she can only do one time a week because of the copay." Okay, great. Did you know we have a payment plan? I'm sorry I didn't explain that in the beginning, but if I don't want any financial issues to come between you and your goals that I wrote down here. So if you could pay 50% of your copay, would that make it easier? Oh, yeah, it would make it a ton easier. So now you've got some reciprocity. You did them a favor, so they're going to do you a favor, even though it seems silly for them to do you a favor of coming in and letting you fix them. That's how the psychology has to work. So if you don't have this in place, then it's going to be really hard for them to see the full spectrum of what that looks like. In cancellation policies, here, another quick note I'll tell you is don't say situations where you can cancel your appointment. I was sick. I got a flat tire. Death in the family. Because guess what? When someone calls up and says, "Hey, I need to cancel my appointment," I had a flat tire. I've had people have multiple flat tires inside of a plan of care. It's really fascinating. But don't give them like what is okay for them to cancel for. So make sure you don't do that. And we put them on a plan. Like, here's the thing: if you cancel twice, you're going to be a day off schedule. Like one time, like, hey man, shit happens, and we'll try to get that back in. Two times, like that's become now a pattern, and especially that's going to happen on the front end of the plan. So it will be, hey, if you're having trouble and physical therapy isn't right for you right now, like I'm backed up. Like I have a waiting list. I have people that need these appointments. So what you can do now is you can call at the beginning of the day, call our office at 8 o'clock, and then see if we have an opening for you. And then you can have one of the open slots. So initially the pushback will be, well, oh man, if I do that, they're definitely going to fall off their plan of care. I don't know. It seems like this person was going to fall off their plan of care anyway because they're not showing up for their PT. So that would be my concern there. So I don't know, Chuck, anything to add to that?
Yeah, it's that whole, along with the value thing, you got to show them the value in the very beginning. And that that value has to come from everybody. So it has to come from the front desk person. They need to enjoy uh, uh, when they have a conversation with the front desk person. And to some extent, it's almost sort of like being an official in like in a basketball game or a football game. You never notice a really good official unless they do something stupid. So we don't set the bar super high. It's just don't be rude, don't ignore people, show a little bit of interest. When people call to cancel, oftentimes they've got expectations of, oh well, I can't, I'm supposed to be there later this afternoon at 4 o'clock. I can't be there at 4. I guess I'm going to have to cancel. Our front desk, when somebody says, "Yeah, I'm calling, I need to cancel my appointment this afternoon," their first response is, "Oh, is it the time or the day?" We don't ask for a bunch of excuses, but just really objectively into the matter, is it the time or the day? And a lot of times we can save that cancel because, well, yeah, I could come at 6, but I know you guys are always busy at 6. Well, you know what? We got something today at 6 or whatever. So is it the time or day? As well as just showing a little bit of concern of, oh, is everything okay? To cancel my appointment today, is everything okay? Oh yeah, it's fine, but it shows a little interest in them as an individual and not just a patient on the slot. The one thing that they are forbidden, the one word they are forbidden to say is what, Travis?
Either that's okay or no problem. Like if you hear that at the front
Right.
desk, like I jump
Mhm.
over the table to get up to the front desk and say that is absolutely not okay. And they'll say, but their dog died or they're like they have the flu. Like that's fine, but don't use that. Don't use those words.
Right. hmm Yeah. So show some interest in them as an individual, and then is it the time or is it the day? And go from there. Um, as far as the reschedule, the same day schedules, we've chosen not to say that up front, but waiting to see if they start to become a little bit of an issue, and on their second cancel, we'll give them the friendly warning. Hey, we want to help you, like Travis was described. our schedule is really full. We're trying to help a lot of people, and we understand that you have a really busy schedule. So here's what we want to do. On the days that you think that you can come, you call us as soon as you know that, and we will do everything we possibly can to get you scheduled for an appointment. And usually that turns them around and they are no longer a problem. If they remain to be a problem after that, I'm not sure that there's anything that you could do that's going to save that. We
You
don't
have,
fire many patients, but we have.
Chuck, do you
And
have
that
the
really,
PC
I
or
mean,
the
you really
front?
want that to be your very last resort.
Yeah. Do you have the front or the back office have that conversation?
Which conversation?
Uh, to put them on same day.
Um, Front desk can do that.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and usually there's a little, we've got some pretty good communication between, who the primary therapist is and the front desk when somebody's starting to lean towards that, they're a cancel issue. Our clinicians will start talking to them about cancellation. But really it's a matter of sort of how it fits best. Our front desk can do it and the clinician can do it as well. Uh, Kind of depends on the folks you have and how well you think they can have that conversation.
Yeah.
But it could be either.
And then the last question we had was from our boys down in Georgia. They were asking about payment plans. So, like I just said, we're willing to put people on payment plans. He had some concerns about, well, once they're done with therapy, then how do you follow up with them? If you don't have someone that's specifically in charge of following up with patient payments and not incentivized to collect every dollar, then you're not going to have success in that situation. At least we haven't. So we have someone who is in charge of all that, and she gets a percentage of the money that is collected, and that's how she's bonused. And she will show up to your house and ask for the money. So you need someone like that that's not afraid to ask for money. But I do see Kevin's concerns like, oh yeah, I see what's going to happen. They have a $40 copay, you cut it down to 20. They come 10 times. Once they leave, it's really hard to collect, which is true. Like once they leave your office, it is really hard to collect. So we collect everything up front. I would say we don't have a ton of people that kind of take us up on that. I would have to look back and see like a percentage, but in order for that to be successful, you got to have someone who is chasing that money down. If you're just sending out statements, like you're wasting the stamp. So
And the important thing with that is the more value you show, especially on that first visit when you're explaining their benefits, because that's what we do. We don't go over their explanation of benefits until after the eval. We want them to experience us and the value of what they're going to do and experience some hope and things like that. And now a steeper copay may, in their minds at that point, kind of seem worth it.
yeah, I mean, unless people forcefully ask us for their insurance benefits before the initial evaluation, we don't give it to them for that exact
Right.
reason. Like as
Mhm.
soon as you tell them they have a $5,000 deductible, that's the only thing they're going to see. So, yeah, Mary Beth agrees. You just can't open with that. Like a 20, even like a 20 or $40 copay is like, oh man, $40 3 times a week. I know what's going to happen here. If you haven't been able to kind of make a change in session and help them out, that is going to be a really tough sell.
Mhm.
Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. That's all I got for today. I got to get on a coaching call. Thanks everybody for showing up, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks,
Thanks,
Chuck.
Robert.
See you guys.